All right, guys, we're back for Supercoach 2025. Round 8's finished. I think that overall, that was like the worst round of football I've watched this year. Like, if you take all the games put together, um, it kind of translated over to Supercoach as well. 2283 was atrocious. Most of it comes from I didn't really have a captain, right? Uh, it was meant to be Sherry on Thursday night, but I reverse trade at like say 6 o'clock. Completely forgot about the vice captain. Um, yeah, that sucks. Dropped in rank, but honestly, it's cooked. The only way that I'll be like getting to a good rank or like kind of saving it is late in the year. As for the team though, trades are going to be so hard this week, right? There's like four guys I want to bring in, but see how the money works. Sheasel I thought was fine. There was the stuff about Kane Corns and all that, which I think was stupid, right? I think both sides have handled it stupid. I think Kane Corns going on a 20-year-old for no reason. When the way Sheasel plays and the way Dacos played in his rookie year, it's basically the same thing. Um, and Clarko's right, like you need Cheezel behind the ball because if he's not behind the ball, they can't get it out of their defense. So of course he has to be behind the ball. He's obviously wants to play midfield/forward, but he can't because the ball will not get there. North of that bad of a team. Jordan Clark 58. That game. Oh man. Oh, do we even talk about it, man? That was the worst game of football this year, and the worst game that I remember watching on prime time. Like, this is a Friday night prime time game. That's the worst one I've seen in a long time. So much so that if the AFL does have like the flex games option, like they do in the NFL, neither of these teams are touching a primetime game for the rest of the year, right? Like that's you suspend a player for doing things. You suspend these teams, right? Like they're not allowed to have a primetime game. But yeah, Clark just couldn't get around it. If you look at the scores for that game, it was terrible. Sarong, Brayshaw, I think Corey Wagner was like a leading scorer for the game. Roberts. So I only caught a little bit of the Sydney GWS game. I forgot it was on. I thought the game started a bit later. It just didn't look like the type of game that like the ball was staying in Sydney's back half for Roberts to do anything. And I don't think if I remember the scoreline correctly, I don't think there were many behinds either, so he couldn't even save it through kickouts. 10-13, that's a lot of behinds. But if you look at it, like a forward, McInerney's kind of like more of a forward now. Blakey, I guess, got the points, but even Blakey didn't ton. So the ball lived a lot of the time in GWS's back half, which explains Whitfield. It explains like Connor Iden. Even like Ash has had a couple of good scores. Like if you look at his score history, this week is a pretty big down week for him. Fonty, we'll see if he plays again. Problem is they lost. I don't think he played too bad of a game. Like looking at his stats and efficiency and stuff like that, like effective kicks. I think he played all right, but we'll see how it goes. Delana was the sub, I'm pretty sure. Surprised Sheldrick doesn't actually have a spot in the team with the amount of injuries they've got. But yeah, so Roberts and Bice was kind of just you couldn't score in that game. Dale, on the other hand, up in Ballarat, terrible conditions for the game. Both like the wind was moving the ball a lot, and then the actual like look of the game. That game should have been called off. Shouldn't have been played in Ballarat. It should have been played at Marvel or I don't know, go play it over in Adelaide or something. Ballarat can't be used while these renovations are up. That looked terrible, right? Like the whole far side of the ground where the camera's facing, there's nothing there. It's just all been dug up. it looks terrible. Like, it's just not a good look. It makes it look like I'm watching the VFL, and then I don't want to watch the game. But yeah, Dale's good. Probably the only good score he's given me so far. 477k. If you're trading on a buy, so something like that, and you've got the 100k in the bank, like I do, I think Dale's a good option. Dogs fixture. I mean, Gold Coast actually isn't bad because Gold Coast should pin him back a little bit. Essendon's not bad. Geelong isn't amazing. Hawks at Marvel is interesting. That could be like a goal fest, like it's just ping ponging back and forth, which is good for Dale. St Kilda, I think, is good. Richmond could be pretty bad, honestly. Like, it might just be the Dogs holding the ball the entire game. Have like, if we're going like European football terms, it's like 70% possession or something like that, right? Like, the Dogs might not give him the ball. But yeah, not too bad of a run coming up. What's he got? He's got the round 12 bye. Like, now's the time you've got to start thinking about buys as well. 12 isn't too bad. It doesn't look too bad. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Dale. And then Zach Reed. So Ridley went down. Was it? I think it was after half time. I think it was kind of midway through the third. Another game I wasn't really watching that closely once I saw the vice captain had left Sherry. I had him vice captain all week, and then I reversed trades because the Bustlinger news was that he was going to play sub, so I brought Trainer back in, and I forgot that it changes that as well. But yeah, Reed looks good. He looks like he's going to be probably the last rookie in the team, the way it's going. Maybe him or Hewitt, something like that. Yeah, but good player. I mean, he had something like 10 intercepts, 8 marks, or 10 marks, 8 intercepts, something like that. Yeah, we'll see how it keeps going. I mean, Essendon, Sydney haven't got like a true forward. Probably the closest is like a Heaney or a Warner or something like that. And Warner, I think, is a pure midfielder now. Heaney should be in the midfield, but he can kick a goal, so I wouldn't be surprised they put him forward, because Sydney are kind of struggling to kick a winning margin. Even they won this week, but they're struggling to do it across the season. Trainer, better game than he's been playing. I think this just restarts his cash gen. Yep, 4 with West Coast, that should be alright for him. Even if he can get to like a 60, which is basically his average, it'll be fine. Dacos, brought him in this week as captain, and so I didn't want to captain him, but like I said, Cherry was done. Then I was like, okay, maybe Sarong against St Kilda. St Kilda's tagging hasn't really worked as of late. Like, they'll start Windhager on someone, and Windhager's like potentially getting subbed at halftime, right? He's not playing great at all. Yeah, so that didn't work out. Then I was thinking, okay, how's Neil going? Neil's scores against Gold Coast aren't amazing. So, and plus his season hasn't been that good either. So I didn't want Neil. Went Dacos. I knew Geelong was going to be a hard matchup for him. I knew it was going to be, but I was kind of expecting a little bit of a Nick Dacos experience, right? Where other team just can't stop him. Is what it is. Like, it's 165 break even. You could have held off on him, but needed him at some point. Why not get him in while I had the cash? Neil was good. This was another one. Like, I did tune in at the start. I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this one, because I haven't really watched a lot of Gold Coast since like it was Eagles round 1, and then the Tigers game was that last week. Since then, I haven't really watched much Gold Coast. So I was like, okay, I'll tune in. Saw the rain was like, it was heavy rain. It's like, okay, turn it off. There's going to be no scoring happening. And that's basically what happened. I think Gold Coast had 30. They pumped it up to 50. Yeah, it just wasn't a great game, to be honest. But yeah, Neil did his job. Sarong, we've already gone into that game. Rosie, stats weren't bad. Like 20-something touches. See if You just have to keep doing this. Eventually, it works. There we go. Yeah, like, good amount of touches, 29 touches. Just a terrible efficiency game, right? Like, a lot of hack kicking, a lot of just kick to space, and then a Dogs player would just run onto it. I think a bit of it was because it was Ballarat. Ballarat's a smaller oval. But, yeah, just not great from him, to be honest. A good, like, if you're just looking at box score, good game. But, you know, if you actually watch the game, you go, yeah, okay, fair enough. Chera, kind of chopping block now, 131. Couldn't score against Adelaide, which, I mean, all of Carlton couldn't. It was basically like just Cripps was the only player that was alright. St Kilda, I think, if they do tag, it's going to be Cripps, right? Sydney, I mean, Jordan probably goes to Cripps as well. GWS, yeah, it probably is time to move on from him. We'll see how it goes, right? I still have a couple of boosts. I have 2 of them. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it's time to move him on and see who we can get for him. Now, the target was McCluggage. What did McCluggage actually end up scoring? 585, 127, break even of 109. Now's probably the time. Interesting. I might do that. We'll see. Sherry de Koning. Sherry was great. De Koning wasn't. So the Crows haven't given up 100 points to a ruckman this year, I believe. Or if they have, they've done it once. That's a pretty important stat, right? Like, you basically can't vice captain or captain a ruckman into a Adelaide game, which they've always been pretty good against ruckman. I mean, it's not going to matter this week. Port, what am I doing? 10. I don't think anyone has Darcy Cameron. Freo, I mean, I don't think... Oh, no. What are we at? West Coast? Flynn. We'll get onto that one later, but it doesn't look like there's too much coming up that's going to be too important. Horn Francis, I thought he played all right, honestly. The stats... What? I didn't even see his like final stats. What were they? I mean, he had 22 touches. That's a good game, right? Did have that one shot at goal, and it just kind of like swayed around the post. The wind was terrible, like I said, over in Ballarat. It's kind of what you get. Rankin was probably the best on ground for Adelaide. Oh, no, it was Dawson. Dawson was crazy. I think he had 2 goals or 3 goals, Dawson. Yeah, I mean, just a good game from him. Two weeks in a row with good games. 2 weeks in a row that Rochelle's been back in the team, by the way. I think that's got a little bit to do with it. If I pull up DFS, give me a second. Alright, so if we have a look at how the CBA's been split, Rochelle's not playing like in the midfield. I mean, he's actually been back for... Oh, no, that's Zach Taylor. Rochelle, he's not playing like pure midfield, but he's playing as a forward that's coming down, and it's meaning that Rankin can kind of stay around the ball a bit more. He hasn't got to sprint forward to be the goal threat. They've already got Rochelle up there. The CBAs for Rankin have been pretty solid all year. Crouch going down helps as well, like for Rankin, that is. Peatling's also getting a bit more, hey? Saligo's dropped off. I think Saligo's playing a bit more wide. Dawson's really capitalising on it, right? Like, there's no other ball winner there. Laird's not playing midfield anymore. But yeah, I think Dawson was a good one to hop on at his price. What is he now? Is it too late? 521. No, it's not too late. That's also an option, I guess, for Chera. Because Dawson just should outperform Chera in basically every way and make a lot more cash. I think when Dawson's break even would have to be low, right? After 74 going into a showdown. Then Collingwood, who he's played good against in the past, and then West Coast, who's like easy to play against this year. I think Dawson's probably one of the best options you could bring in the midfield. Bailey Smith, I thought was good. I was at the game. Definitely felt like the script was Crisp had to kick that at the end. Place went so Geelong, go up 2 goals or something like that, right? Everyone's like, "Oh, that's the dagger." I reckon 30,000 Collingwood fans left. It's like, dude, you're Collingwood, right? Like, this is your thing. There's 40 seconds left. You guys can do this, and lo and behold, they kick a goal. It's a 1 goal game. They kick a goal, they win the game. They're all gone, right? So yeah, it would have been good to see Crisp kick that because all the Collingwood fans had already left. So yeah, that would have been funny. But I did see talk about like Collingwood fans overreaction, right? Like Sky is Blue. They want like De Goey dropped, and then they want like all these guys dropped. It's like, dude, they want like Darcy Moore to like lose his captaincy. So I thought Darcy played a good game. Geelong's forward line isn't anything spectacular, but Jeremy Cameron's still like a top 5 forward in football at the moment. Jack Macrae, I should have thought about a vice captain on him, or a captaincy even, but just never crossed my mind, I'll be honest. I thought Freo... I thought the game would go the other way. I thought Freo would kind of dominate St Kilda, and it would kind of be like that when they played the Dogs a couple of weeks ago. And then like all the St Kilda players just... I think like one of them turned up in that game. Ended up going the opposite way. This is kind of the score I was expecting from Sarong or from Brayshaw. Yeah. Caleb Daniel, 89. Now it's time to have the conversation, right? Do you cash in Caleb Daniel? I think if you're in a perfect position, your rookies are clean. Like, you've got a clean bill of health. Your midfield's scoring all right. You've got Dacos. I mean, maybe you have a Butters or a Bont, right? How are we looking on like players you kind of want to have? You've got Gawn. You haven't got TDK, which, I mean, it's happened again, right? Everyone didn't pick Gawn, and now he's going crazy. You got Brayshaw. I think like the perfect midfield is something like Dacos, Brayshaw. Dunkley's still up there, right? So maybe him as well. Maybe then you move on Caleb Daniel. You get like to a Petrarca or to a Warner. I think Warner is kind of the target for everyone this week. Last week it was Petrarca. This week it's Warner. Problem is, right, so if you want both of them, one of them has to play in the midfield. Like, say you brought in Petrarca last week, and you're going to go after Warner this week. First of all, where you find the cash, right? Where are the rookies, right? So, if you're doing that, like, who are you moving? Because Marek's, like, one of the best forwards out at the moment, right? Like, his 3-round average would have to be crazy. I don't know if you move Marek into the midfield, and then you've got, you trade Daniel, you've got Warner, Petrarca, something like that. Or you just wait, right? Like, you could just wait on him, to be honest. I think Petrarca will drop again. He's playing mostly forward, and those goals are keeping his score higher, right? So he hasn't got the ceiling he used to, but the floor's kind of creeping up, right? Which is good for Supercoach. As for my trades, right, I mean, going into like rookies and stuff, I mean, Davidson was terrible. These two probably never getting picked again. Hewitt was good, but I think he had 3 goals, which explains the 91. Cleary was okay. Did he have a goal in the end? I think he had 1. He had 1. And then Flynn just got destroyed. I think Gawn put 150 points on his head. Like, Gawn had 198 versus 53. What's that? Well, like 130 something, 140 something. That was destruction, right? So Flynn against any type of capable ruckman is terrible. I don't think it's a trade though. I think you hold Flynn. Being a ruckman, I think he's like the perfect flex position player. If he scores good, it makes your team. If he scores bad, it doesn't make your team. Especially once it comes to buys and stuff, right? I think that's going to help out a little bit. Into trades, though, it's Davidson. Maybe I'll do Chera. I'd like to get rid of Bice as well. Bice at 71. I think now is the time that you could cash in on him. But I don't. There's no defensive rookies at all. Do something like this, and then the only rookie that like we kind of have. I mean, none of them have played 2 games yet, have they? Bring that down. 2 games has to wait, so people are going to bring him in this week. Had to go early on him, right? Like I didn't really have any options. Oscar McDonald. Tunstall's playing sub, so he's useless. It's the same guys. Wiltshire. I think Wiltshire keeps getting games, but you look at his scoring, right? Like in 2 games, he has 69 points. I think it was a sub last week. I don't think there's anything there. I think Bo Allen's kind of a dead pick. He's just gonna rot away on the wing because West Coast can't manage a team properly. It's probably Fonte and pray he gets a game. And then that gives me cause I do need a scoring player on the bench, right? So I mean on field. Trainer I don't trust yet. So it has to be a midfield one. I feel more comfortable in Boxall, but that game was weird, right? That's not how most games are going to go. Lorenz played wing. I think he's just straight up taken last player we had here, Port Adelaide winger. I think he's just straight up taken his spot completely, so should get a couple of games in. Then if we just go here, players are going forward. In defense, who do I want? Honestly, actually go midfield first. Will Ashcroft is kind of on a heater at the moment. Actually, no, last week was pretty poor from him, wasn't it? No, last week was alright. I'm thinking Collingwood. 112, 99, 130 if you go those 3. North up, Melbourne. Max Holmes, I don't really like at the moment. Chad Warner, hey? What if I do this, then bring in Warner? It's going to let me do that. Go like that, maybe. Yeah, there you go. Warner gives me 686. That's a little bit of money. But I do want to keep a little bit, don't I? But look at that midfield. That midfield's pretty weak, isn't it? How am I going to do this? That's not going to work, is it? Give me a minute. I have to do some Supercoach mathematics. Alright, so I think the trades are going to look something like this. Bice, I do want to trade, but I can't find anyone to trade him to. I've been looking at Josh Dacos, because Dacos has been on a bit of a good run at the moment. Low break even as well for Josh. I just can't make it work with rookies and other players I want in the team. It would mean like I'm going really low on midfielders, and I've got too many forwards at that point. I think that this is more of the way to go. Dawson, we'll see if he continues to be a top 8 guy, but with Crouch out, scoring's looking good. I'm not too sure off the top of my head how long Crouch is out for, but should be a couple of good scores in the meantime to make up for Chera. And it's a showdown this week. Dawson's good in a showdown. I think I'm going to go with that. It also lets me take another rookie off field. Do that. The midfield bench situation's still shambolic, but can I loop box? Yeah, I can. They're on different times. One of those won't play. Yeah, I don't think Clay Hall plays, so I should be able to loop him with Clay Hall. Yeah, and then next week we target the other midfielder who was... forgot his name. Lorenz. we'll see how he goes in the showdown. If it's good enough, then we'll bring him in. People are trading in Gorn. Jeez, okay. Where are people finding that money? Kind of forward line done, right? Like, I think Marek in for Daniel, and that's kind of like the forward line good for a while. Midfield's a bit of this is a bit of a problem here. Not a lot of ceiling here. Like, probably the only player that can put up a real good ceiling score is Dacos. Maybe Sarong in a good game, but hasn't shown it this year. The ceiling's just not here, right? Defense, I mean, Cheezel can go 130, but that's kind of the max he can do. Yeah, missing those real big scores, right? Which people are getting in. We'll see how it goes, though. Let me know who you guys are trading in, because 2,000 people bringing in almost or 2.5K bringing in Gorn. Where the hell are they finding the cash? It has to be like TDK or something like that, right? Like TDK plus 100K. But yeah, see you all next week. Tasty out.